everyone, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills, and today's project for me is to make a Comfrey salve. Now, I have in the past purchased Comfrey seed, and I planted the seed in my garden, and the plant grew, thankfully, and I was able to harvest some leaves and dry them. And then after they were dry, I infused them with some olive oil, and they've been sitting in a mason jar with olive oil for, way longer than 6 weeks, and about 6 weeks is all we need. So other than the Comfrey oil, Comfrey infused oil, the other things that you would want would be some natural beeswax, and I do have this brick of beeswax that I've had for quite a while, and so rather than buying the little pellets, which probably would be nice to have too, they just melt quicker, I cut off a little chunk of this. Now, I don't want to make a huge amount of salve. I just want to make it for my own purposes. I'm not trying to sell it or give it away, or, well, maybe I'll give away a little bit if I have too much, but the idea is just to make a small amount, personal use. So I am not going to use all of the oil that I infused with the Comfrey. I'm going to save some of it for making soap later on. So yeah, make a Comfrey soap. So what I've done now is I've put everything, I've got everything ready here. Okay, hopefully everything is visible here. First of all, I have got my Comfrey in a mason jar, and since I only want to make a small amount, I'm only going to use half a cup of this. So I'm not going to strain the whole thing today. I'm only going to strain about half a cup, and I will save some of it for making some Comfrey soap. But today I'm going to just make a small amount of Comfrey salve. So I've also got beeswax. Now, normally, I suppose you could buy the little granules, which would be probably a little bit easier to melt, but I've had this natural beeswax around for a while, this brick, and I cut off a little chunk, and the ratio is 1 cup of the Comfrey to 1 ounce of beeswax. But I'm going to do half and half. So half a cup of Comfrey oil and half an ounce of beeswax. And I believe I've got 2 ounces chopped up here, so I've got to redo this. So I've laid some saran wrap on my measuring thing here. Okay, so I want half an ounce. That block is half an ounce. Perfect. So I'll save the rest of this. And I want half a cup of Comfrey oil, so I'm going to get a strainer. And just strain out half a cup. Okay, I believe that'll do it. Yep, that's half a cup. Okay, so we want to melt the 2 of these together. And I've set up my own concoction here, my own method. There's probably a number of ways you can do this. I've got a pot of water, I've got a bamboo steamer, and I'm just going to put this container, ouch, that gets very, very hot, especially if you put the lid on. So I will be melting this by steaming it all. Okay, at this point my beeswax and oil, Comfrey infused oil, has all blended and melted all together. I've used a a steamer here, a steamer setup. And now I want to turn off the heat. I want to take this off the heat. I want to be able to pour it into a measuring cup so that I can pour it into the little containers. And it is very hot. Okay, this is already starting to harden fairly quickly. Now, the last thing that I want to do before I pour it into my little containers is to add some essential oil. And today I picked up some lemongrass, and I had gifted to me from my daughter some frankincense, so I think I'll put a bit of each. And that's probably more than enough of the frankincense. Okay. Now we want to stir that in. Okay, so I have filled 2 containers of salve. I've added some of the essential oils, and now I just have to wait for these to harden, and we will put on the lids after they've hardened. As you can see, it isn't really a complicated process. It's have infused comfrey oil for a 6-week period. Measure off your ratio of comfrey oil to beeswax. Melt everything together. Add in your essential oils that you would like to add, and then just pour it into a container and leave it to harden. Okay, so that's all there is to making this, and we'll see what it's like when it's done. That's it for now.